All right, just give me a sec, guys. Hi, everyone. We're streaming according to the interwebs. Just getting a couple of little last-minute things done here. Right. We should probably do something like this. When it works. Oh. USB's being a bit of a doofus today.
Everything's been a bit of a pain.
Yeah. Come on, USB. No luckies with thissies. Come on, can you hear that? It's going beep, 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 beep.
We can hear you and beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, Windows is being a doofus.
Beep, 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 beep. Ah, you see, technology is just a pain. It's because you want things.
There we go.
Right. Never
Too
does.
much crap plugged into the one
It's
USB.
fine.
Yeah, it's good. It's working. Beautiful. Okay. Audio levels. Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're just trying to get something. Trying to get things sorted. Sorted. Let's try this camera. Yes. That looks very sexy. Okay. So that's working. We'll try Daren Cam. Audio. Daren Audio. That's your cue to talk, Daren.
Audio. All right. So I'm missing on these cues. I take it that's fine anyway, volume wise.
Should be.
1, 2, 1, 2. Back to you. 3, 4. Knock at the door.
The chatties will let us know, and we'll try Andy Cam.
Hello,
It's
everyone.
a super
Are we
close
all
up
right?
of Andy today.
Well, I know, I was just there.
Fair enough.
The camera
Hello.
fell forward.
Well, I've moved it from over there because, yeah. Oh, bugger.
You've done some moving. Okay, you
Well,
move your
no,
lips
well,
and I'll talk
it's where
for
it
you.
was last week.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. There we go. Ventriloquism at the best. All right, my microphone working? Good. It's weird because sometimes my microphone is too quiet, sometimes it's too loud.
Sometimes it's not on.
Sometimes it's just plays music. No, it doesn't. Okay. How's everyone in the chat? Is that button working? Yay. That works. How many people have we got? I've caught your disease, Andy. Oh, a good 20 odd people.
While you're doing that, I've pinged you 2 photos via Facebook Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Told to stop
mean,
being
come on,
on top
Andy?
of photos. Sending that sort of stuff across to Ranzee.
Yeah, I got it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's proper synth porn. It's not very glamorous, but I am not kidding. It's one of the most mental things I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
But I have asked for.
I
So
did
if you've
go
got
for
those,
park
we've got
bench.
permission. Yes, of course you did. Eventually, that's only because the local bobbies came around and said, "Oh, you."
Okay.
Move on.
Move on. No loitering with intent on this park bench. So I have asked permission that we can show these. So that's just so that you're aware, and it's a yes, we can. So
Okay, so show them from who? Am I guessing the right person here?
Yes, that's right. We'll mention it all in a minute or two, I suppose.
Okay,
I mean, what
all
people know already because he's stuff up on Facebook, but yeah.
All right, they're queued and ready to rock and roll when you want to.
Lovely. Yeah.
Okay. Have a quick look. My chat window is tiny now. I need to do something about that. It's really bad. Okay. Bad eyesight, bad everything. Getting old. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Right. Okay. If you're new here, this is pretty much all we do during this show. We just muck around. No, actually, no. This is the pre-show. The actual show starts in about 6 minutes on the hour, on the knock of the hour. In fact, hopefully, you should have a little bit of a guide in your browser sort of scroll bar thing of what's to come. So we start off with the main show. We do a bit of funny side. We do a bit of news. We're going to talk. There's a couple of new products out there which you probably already have heard of, but that's okay. We're going to talk about them again and give our opinions and our thoughts. So a couple of surprise ones and a couple of internet breaking ones, like you probably call it. And the main part of the show today is we're going to be doing the Akai Force. Yes. Now, I've had some, as I always do, some technical issues because this is a new studio. Forgive me, but it's really, really hard to get everything working properly in this new studio. But there's the Akai Force over there. Yes, it's live Akai Force cam. Yes, it's been updated to the latest firmware version. And we're going to have a little play. Next to it, to the left, you'll see the Novation launch control. So we're going to have play with that with the Akai Force. Yes, that is one of the new cool features of the new firmware, among other many, many things. So,
Wolf, not seen him for ages.
Yes, I've been chatting to him. So big hello to Oleg. Big hello. And he'll probably have some news soon. But we won't announce it just yet. Okay, right. So quite a lot to get through. I would probably say the Akai Force might hit about the second half of the show. If we can get closer to that, then that's fine. We'll just try our best. There's a lot to get through with the Akai Force. One of the things I thought was Andy does a really good video, not this Andy here, the other Andy as in Akai Andy. He does really good jobs of his videos. Actually, he's actually probably one of my favorite working for the company type video demonstrators. He's actually pretty good. A little salesy, but he has to be. And then he was with Nick, and the thing that he did with Nick was awesome. But I just felt like I want more, So I'm not Andy and I'm not Nick. But maybe we could show more. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. And we're going to do it live and raw and unedited, and it's not going to look polished. It's going to be warts and all. So if you're looking for polished perfection, go back to the Akai Pro website and have a look at their stuff, because it's all edited, right? This is going to be raw as you can get. And that's what we want. We want mistakes. We want fumbling. Bear in mind, I've had the firmware for literally 24 hours. So there'll be things that I'll be touching for the first time, just as you guys are seeing it for the first time as well. Okay.
That's what they say on the park bench.
Are they having a go at you already, Daren? Jeez,
You're going to be censored if you carry on talking about that.
Jeez, honestly. God. Dearie me. Good to see some familiar faces. Look, if you're actually new here and you haven't jumped into the chat, you're not a YouTube chatty, well, today you should be a YouTube A YouTube? Yeah, it's a new word. A YouTube chatty virgin. That's what you should be. Jump into chat and say g'day if you like to say Australian colloquialism, or you can say oi or whatever you want to say. Just don't say anything rude, but be nice because everyone here is pretty cool. Yes. Right. What are we looking at time-wise? A couple of minutes before the hour. We're all good to go, I think. Yeah. I've got everything all the stuff ready to go with our usual segments, so that's fine. But yeah, I've had some technical issues. Now, this is great, having this sort of forum. Before we hit the main show, I'll probably actually ask you guys. Anyone who knows and been following me knows that I've recently got the Mac Mini M1, and it's running Big Sur. I haven't upgraded it to the latest Mac OS. It's still OS 11 though. And you notice on this baby, it's Ableton 11 running, and also I'm running the RME DigiFace audio interface, which is all ADAT SPDIF. Love that word, SPDIF. Sounds like you're gonna sneeze or something. Yes, so TOS-Link if you want to get technical, and it's been pretty good. The only thing I can't do with it is I can't. Yes, SPDIF.
Sony Philips digital interface.
That's the one.
That's an old format that as well, isn't it?
It is an old format.
Oh, I thought that was just stereo though. Anyway, maybe I don't know enough about this stuff.
Stereo. You listen to the radio. No. Yeah, so if you remember, one thing I can't do at the moment is I can't seem to loop this back
on my radio
and send it through this wonderful protocol that I use to show screens called NDI. So it's a bit of a video technical issue. It's not an actual audio interface technical issue. It's just the NDI player there doesn't seem to want to forward the audio back. But the other Mac that I've got sitting just here, it's a laptop, does it fine. So anyway, so what I've ended up having to do is move the Akai Force connection from that directly into the audio interface, which is running on this PC, which drives the streaming and everything that you guys see. So hopefully, with a bit of luck, you should hear this. Right, that's the Force playing. So that should be good. Okay. Wagoo's talking to me. I think we should probably start the show since it's been 1 minute past and everyone's getting antsy. Let's do that. Here we go. Boom. Yes, you have reached an amazing show. This is the best show that you've ever seen in your entire life. And now that we've made this really, really hard act to follow from here on, I want to introduce the guests of the show, starting with Daren. Daren, how's your week been?
Hello. It's been fine, thank you. It's been just average, I suppose, weather-wise. Damn cold in the studio, though. I've got the heater on here trying to keep it warm, even though I've got everything switched on. But yes, it's been not bad at all. Right, anyway, so while I'm on, I want to thank everyone who paid for that EP for starters. So everyone who paid for this, I want to thank you very much. And because you paid for that EP, when that album is released before the end of the year, I'm going to give you all, the ones who've paid, a special album called From Within, which will link up to this album, and no one else will be able to have it. No one else will be able to have it. It won't be paid for. This album, it will connect to this album and this one that you've paid for, or paid for both, whichever. And the album will be just for you, the people who've paid. So that's like a bit of thank you for paying for it. So that's what I'll do. It's going to be quite an interesting mini album that will be connected to the 21 album for those who have paid, and it won't be available anywhere else. So people won't be able to just go and buy this sort of section of the album. and it won't be released on YouTube or it won't be released anywhere. All it'll be released with one track just to show what people are missing. So yes, thank you very much for everyone, and I will get round to your Bandcamp sites when I can.
Hooray! Brilliant. Nicely done. Okay, and we're also going to say hello to Andy. Big hello to you. How's your week been?
Hi everyone. I've had a great week. I've had an absolutely cracking week. It's been wonderful. I will confess I'm one of the people that chucked Daren a tenner for his album, and I was listening to it in the car as I've raced up and down the M1 down to the south and back up to the north again. So I went to stay with my brother for a few days down in Harpenden in Hertfordshire, which was lovely. We went into London for a day as a tour. It was great. I had a brilliant time in London. Went to Borough Market, London Bridge. Amazing. I had such a good time there. Bought loads of stuff that was far too expensive, but wonderful. Then we went round Southwark Cathedral, which was a delight. I'd never been there before. That was wonderful. We walked up Westminster and Parliament Street and Whitehall. It was very quiet. There was next to nobody there. You could even see Horse Guards Parade and everything. Walked up to Trafalgar Square, next to nobody on Trafalgar Square. It's really strange seeing London quiet. And then through Covent Garden to the British Museum. Never been to the British Museum before. That was amazing. I really loved that. Walking around there. And I've seen all sorts of things which I'd never seen before, but always wanted to see, like the Rosetta Stone. That was great. I got a bit teary about the Rosetta Stone because it's all very languages and things like that. That was amazing. And then the next day I paid our mate Kent Spong a visit. But do you want me to talk about that now, or should we talk about that in a bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Let me know, Rans.
Go for it.
Right. Well, as you might be aware, my Pro One's been in a bit of a state for a while, so I thought, well, as I'm going down there, I will make the effort and take it to Kent for him to do his magic on, which is actually done in the meantime. I've seen he put a video up on Facebook there. So I went down and dropped it off, and you know that song, Who Let the Dogs Out? Well, that was me. So the first thing I managed to do when I was at Kent was one of his dogs escaped, and poor Kent and his missus had to chase around the streets of Surrey getting the dog back. So Kent, I'm really sorry for letting your dog out. But, oh dear. So that was the first thing. I'm sure that didn't go down too well. But then when we got into his house, it's an amazing, honestly, it's amazing. But it's this sort of nice suburban street in Surrey. You go into this house, and in the downstairs toilet there really is a Jupiter 8, an OB8, a Juno 106, and all sorts of things, just stuff. I'm thinking, oh my word. We go through into the front room, and on the floor in the front room, which is what he's working on, was an absolutely beautiful memory Moog. Absolutely 100% pristine condition memory Moog, just which he'd been working on. It was beautiful. And then to the left, you got the photos ready, Rans.
Yes.
I was absolutely blown away by this. And I mean, it's not often I have never seen one, let alone two, of each of these in one place. I am not kidding. 2 DX1s and 2 CS80s. There you go. It's just mad. So thanks to Kent for giving us permission to share this picture, because that was just an eye opener to me. Those DX1s are absolutely massive things, but there you got 2 DX1s and 2 CS80s. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will also spot to the right of the CS80s a sort of light blue box. Now, that, Kent tells me, which I thought I'd recognise it anyway from when Daniel Miller bought it, is Kraftwerk's vocoder, which was used on Autobahn and robots and all of those things. I mean, I was just a little bit, oh my God, look at that. That is just, oh. So
Did you touch
I never
it,
got
Andy?
any further.
Just
No, I
touch.
didn't. No, I didn't even touch. Kent said have a play with the memory mode, but I couldn't do it. I mean, I was just there. I was a bit sort of overwhelmed by it all, really. But it was there, so I had a good, a good sort of. Oh, that was nice. I didn't get any further than that. That was quite enough. But that was an amazing experience, and I'm very, very grateful to Kent for making me welcome. We had a good chat about all sorts of things. And in the meantime, I believe he sort of mended my Pro One, put it all back together, made it look really nice. I saw the video, Kent, that you posted on Facebook. Amazing. Thank you very much. And it means I've got to drive back down to London. I'm going to go back down on Monday or Tuesday, I think, this next week to go and pick it up. So hopefully this time next week I'll have the Pro One back in full working order. So yeah, that was such a buzz that visit to Kent. So once again, many thanks, Kent, to you and your missus for making me welcome that day, and also thanks very much for sorting out my poorly prune.
Kent said, "Should see the bloody kitchen."
Should see the bloody kitchen. Oh, never. I didn't get into the kitchen. Well, that room was the front room and the toilet was just slightly overwhelming enough. But yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, what a great week I've had.
Well, speaking of chatties, I think we should say hello to them. We should say hello to Future World Machines and Martin Taylor and Eddie, JP Page 2, JX3D. One of my Patreons, awesome. Sasquatch, and we should also say hello to Synths by the Sea. Who else have we got here? ALL, big hello to you. Sonic Link, Azio Head, Paul Tobert. Yeah, lots of cool people jumping in. Inky's there.
There's some interesting news coming in from Suzanne.
Yes. We'll get to that in a sec. Did I say Sentient? Big hello to you. And I think I'll just keep scrolling. Wagoo, Keith from Watford, Random Maestro, big hello to you. Andy Synthetics there. And IP's there, big hello to you. And I'm pretty sure I've skipped a couple because I just scrolled like crazy. I do apologise if I have skipped you. Oleg's there, Grey Wolf is there. It's good to see Oleg back. Obviously Kent's there, we were talking about him. Big hello to Kent, he's also another one of my patrons. Really nice of you guys to support me. So is IP. And yeah, so Dr. Synth is there, Mandy's there. And I've missed a whole bunch of people. Native VS, Michael B, haven't seen Michael B for a while. Hello to you. I know it's going to be changing the hours soon. Ben's there. Yeah, so big hello to everyone. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. What's the news? You can tell us the news that Suzanne's saying, Daren, since you saw it.
I just said Suzanne just needs to keep watching your show for the next couple of weeks or something, because there might be something she'll be interested in at some point. That was all. I don't know anything. I mean, she might have something that I don't know. It was just for Suzanne while she's on here, Synths by the Sea, just to keep an eye on your show for the next. I'm not sure next week or the week after. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Well, yeah,
that was all.
There is. I mean, obviously she's
talking in riddles, Daren.
She is planning something.
I always do.
So you should always go check out the Synths by the Sea Facebook page for that.
Yeah, it's a cool page, actually.
If you're actually in my part of the world, which is Western Australia, you can actually partake in that. And you'll see my ugly mug there among a few others. So there you go. Right.
Did you get the didgeridoo, by the way?
No. No didgeridoo. No.
You didn't spot it. I know Andy tried.
Well, actually, no. I've been listening to your track, like I said, up and down the motorway. Now is it track 4? There is. I've got something which I think, now that's what he's talking about. But whether it's a real one, a sample, or one that you've synthesized on an SH101.
Track 3. Track 3.
There's track 3. There's definitely a drone bit which is very didgeridoo, but I couldn't tell whether it was a sample or whether you synthesized it, or whether it was just you blowing into a kazoo and pitched down.
No, it actually was. It was actually a real didgeridoo sample from someone playing a didgeridoo.
Right.
Very good.
And then obviously,
right,
as the track evolved, it got bass over that and it was molded in. But yes, there is an actual original didgeridoo in that. Very subtly done, as you said to me, I think.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on.
It was
great. Yeah, didgeridoos.
No?
Didgeridoos are actually very, very difficult to emulate on an analog synth. If you ever look back at some of the old patches from the late 70s, early 80s, their attempts at didgeridoos is pretty awful, especially the Roland ones. But it's probably because it has a lot of different aspects to it. It's got air, and it's got, so you'd have to have noise, and you'd have to have some sort of flanging effect, and
it moves quite a lot within in the note itself. That's why it's cut down that sound.
Well, you get different pictures, don't you? Within just blowing down that one pipe, you're not just getting like one pitch. It's not. If you hit a piano key and hits a string, you get the fundamental frequency, and you perceive that as pitch. A didgeridoo is not quite like that. You hear the overtones much more strongly, which is why it's harder to discern. It sounds more like a resonant chord. That's always been why it's so distinctive. Yeah. And I bet there's no two didgeridoos that have the same resonances, will they? Because that's also a thing. Yeah. Because they're just hollowed out bits of... I think they're amazing things. I think they're fabulous things.
Hollowed out of bits of tree, that's what they are. And the way you play it too, it depends on how you play it, because a lot of the guys will play it slightly out the side of their mouth, and so they can puff their cheek up, and they can get that sort of movement with their cheek to sort of create some timbre effects.
And Roland can much more sort of more rhythmic, isn't it? It's played much more rhythmic. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, I'm talking dribble. I used to, do you know what? I had a Jasper stand once, and they're tube with the plastic bit on the end of the tube. I used to blow down that, and it made a good didgeridoo sort of sound. But I just thought I'd let you know that. Because it wasn't real, because it was metal, but it was an interesting noise.
Ben thinks the didgeridoo has been nailed on the Timberwolf. I'd like to see that. That would break the internet.
Ranzee's got one.
I've got one.
Ranzee's got one, but
I'm not going to try.
That's your project, right? No, you must for next week.
That'd break the internet. Speaking of breaking the internet, why don't we run with our regular segments, and we'll start with this one. Boom. Yes. There's no didgeridoos. No didgeridoos were harmed in the filming of this show anyway. Yes, you've reached the end of the internet. Stranger things do happen when we look at these bizarre looking things called memes. And speaking of the Timberwolf, how was that? Hey? That was not even planned.
Slick.
Boom-ja. This will actually break the internet when people actually realise what we're actually looking at here. Isn't that a Vermona performer? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Isn't that like a 4-voice analog type synth?
Yeah.
Which have got kind of like 4 independent kind of voices. So what is a Timberwolf?
Nothing like a Vermona performer.
Well, our mate here, he thinks it is. But anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah.
And Behringer seemed to think that they can do memes now. The social media department at Behringer doing well with their memes. At least this one.
I actually want one of them.
At least this one wasn't cork sniffing. Right, next one. We should get out of trouble with that one. Isn't it nice to have tails, especially this one? Son, I'm sorry. I spent all your college fund on synth gear, but now with all the money I made on Spotify, I can afford to send you anywhere you like. Hooray for streaming revenues! Woo! This is like sarcasm at its best, pretty much. Do you not get it?
Well, yeah. What was it? A million streams on Spotify, and Gary Newman got 36 quid. Yep. I don't think that kid's going to be going very far. I might have a bus journey to the local town.
Yeah. Speaking of going far, this guy might be. This is the the new type of DJ that's out there. Now, what I want you guys to do in chat is to give this a little caption. All right. So we'll do the top 5 captions. We'll wait 10 seconds for them to catch up. I'll start you off. We're just wondering where he's been. That's my first caption. Next one. Let's go. Recycling the DJ. There you go, from Native VS. Who else? What have we got? Been there, done that. Okay, good one, Andy. You should have just said that. Come on. Captions.
Been there, done that.
Yep. Maybe he's
That's
a
a-
bit.
that's
Maybe
a
he's
rubbish
bit of
mix.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's a bit of a rubbish mix. Yeah, that was the one that was on Facebook.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Anyway.
Okay. Where have you been? Where have you really been?
Yeah, hasn't really been to jail. Yes. There we go. That's the memes for the week. What was your favourite, Daren? Put you on the spot.
Probably the Spotify one.
Yeah. That one.
Having said that, I do like the Behringer one piano or 2 notes. Well, it's 3 notes, isn't it? I wouldn't mind one of them myself, actually.
Yeah. It's rather grand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mini grand.
Think of it.
It's rather grand. Very good. Chatties, what did they think the favourite was this week? They're still talking about the garbage bin. I think they like the garbage bin. They're still talking about that. Maybe it's just because it's a bit delayed.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Andy thinks the garbage bin.
Bins.
The bins are good. Cool. Okay.
Binman spinning, Sinny's bin up in Sin.
Oh, dearie me. Let's go to news before it gets worse. Yes, we've reached news, and starting off this week, we have some news from SonicWare, living the bass and beats. Isn't this a cool looking little thing? And I think we should kick off proceedings with the first video, and if it's the right button, I think it's this one, and we should hit this button here. Right, we're going to stop it there because, it's really interesting. This, I mean, my first impression was that it's kind of old schooly. It's almost like computery, like the old Nintendo's, type things that used to make mod tracks on and stuff like that. I don't know. It just kind of has that old 90s gaming vibe to it, and I think that's a good thing because a lot of people love that sort of sound. But it has got a fair bit in it. So should we go over? We'll go back over to the photo, and we'll tell you guys if you don't know what's in it. Let's have a look. It's got a wavetable bass engine. It's got 32 different wavetables with unison, sub-oscillator, noise generator, with 10 different types of noise. Sounds like me in the toilet in the morning. The signal flow in a rich resonant multi-mode filter with low pass, high pass, and band pass. The signal flow ends with a multi-effect section with a dimension effect. What's a dimension effect? Is that like a chorus? Rapid tremolo, which is a machine gun, and a distortion unit for extra harmonics. So you can give it a single LFO with shape, rate, depth, decay, delay, BP sync, all that sort of stuff. Rhythm machine. So the second part of it is a rhythm machine. It's loaded with 150 high-quality rhythm sounds, carefully selected for your modern and timeless composition. Doesn't that sound like a bit of marketing talk? But yeah, it uses samples and not synthesis. So so that part of it is kind of like a rompler in that sense. It does have effects like reverb, chorus, delay, flanger, bit crusher for that. And you can also muck around with the samples a little bit with some pan, pitch, decay, that sort of stuff. The last bit is it's got a sequencer. It's got an inbuilt sequencer like the other two products that SonicWare have brought out. like the 8 warps and the XFM. The sequences can have up to 64 steps, note length from 1 to 1 to 1 to 32, saved in 128 patterns, and internal memory. The sequencer also supports longer note ties, real-time, non-real-time recording, and all that sort of stuff. So you've probably seen those already. Now, it is going to be $199 US. You can order it now. It'll ship around about February 2022 to May 2022. Now, knowing the XFM, it would probably be more likely May, I would guess, because of what they said. Quick thoughts, Andy, about this little baby.
I think it looks great. It sounded great. Well, it sounded very nasty, didn't it? Cool. That was very in your face. These sort of groove boxes that just put it all under your fingertips, I think they've got a lot of mileage still. And I believe this isn't all that expensive. It's about 160, 170 quid, isn't it? So it's not a huge amount. If I was going to be grumbly about it, there's only mini jack outputs rather than full-size ones. I'm assuming that is a stereo mini jack output. Is that right, Rans? Have you seen that, or is it?
Let me have a look while we are talking. There is a photo of the back of it somewhere.
Well, it's nice. I like the colours. I think, yeah, those sort of very sort of late 80s, early 90s sort of colours, like flash dance. You know, I just think it's very retro looking. Looks like a typewriter, says Ken. It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, those little plasticky buttons.
Okay, so audio output is a stereo line 3.5mm MIDI jack. Yes.
Yeah. So it's stereo. Okay, cool.
There you go. Daren, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, at very first I thought, I don't know. It's just a little gimmicky sort of very cheap OP1. But on sort of like looking at it a bit more, I'm a bit like Andy. I think they've probably got some mileage in them, and it's not massive, so you can sort of really portable take it out with you. Or a bit like when I went on that holiday and I took the circuit. It's something you could take with something like that, and it'd be quite handy. So I'm sort of quite drawn to it. And like Andy says, £160-ish. That's not bad.
Yep.
For a little groove box. Even if it gives you ideas, you can take it about. So I quite like it, actually. And it's got that OP1 sort of style as well, hasn't it? And the sort of like the keys and all, how it physically is. It's a small, plasticky looking but quite cool.
It's the same size
music tech. So yeah,
as the other two. So I will grab the XFM because I've got one a little bit later, and I'll just give you guys a little visual on how big they are. They're actually pretty small. So, but not like vocal small, but pretty small. Just before we go any further,
Daniela, by the way.
Thank you, Daniela. Yes, exactly. I just wanted to quickly get that in there, and you can see that beautiful generosity from Daniela. Take some drinks. We shall for the €2. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. So back to news. Quickly have a quick look at what the chatties were saying about the bass and beats. The bass and beats. Yeah. I will admit the XFM, it's kind of plasticky. So this will be the same. So you if you ever see any of the videos done by Chris of the XFM, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sort of like very plasticky sort of feel to them. Doesn't mean it's not strong or anything. It's just that's just how it feels. It's not anything different to that. Okie dokies. Right, what we should do is double check something here. Live stream chat. Okay. Yeah, so Discord chat's going off beautifully. Okay, we'll go back to news. We've got some more stuff to get through. The next one off the news is this one. Yes, this is a Behringer product that resembles very, very much a Moog product. Let's not beat around the bush, but Behringer are calling it the Edge. Lisa will be very, very pleased, and in fact, she's actually told me she's very pleased with the colour of this, because lots of people should be bringing out pink-coloured synths, and here's one. So this one basically resembles very similar to the Moog DFAM. If you haven't checked it out, why don't we have a little little play of their video. I think the audio's been a bit weird on this video. I don't know if it's on purpose, if it's the video that does it, but let's give it a go. Right, here we go. I think it's this button. No, it's not that button. Sorry, it's this button.
Edge is a semi-modular percussion synth that sounds as bold as it looks. With a pure analog signal path, Edge has dual VCOs featuring pulse and triangle waves, oscillator sync, and FM, and thanks to its semi-modular design, a 15x10 patch matrix allows for massive sound design capabilities. Whether it's super tight percussive sounds, or sub-destroying bass lines.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's seen that video. I have no idea why that video keeps glitching every week, and it's probably because I'm using a different Mac that I usually use here for this, so I'll probably have to get the other one back over here as quickly as I can. Anyway, who did I start with last? I started with Andy. We'll start with Daren this time. What do you think of the Behringer Edge, Daren?
Well, I've got a DFAM. So, yeah, it's a DFAM, isn't it? With,
it is.
A few extra little tricks that the DFAM can't do.
Yep.
So, if you want the DFAM...
Is the tricks the MIDI
and it's
side?
a lot cheaper.
Is that where the tricks are?
Mainly, yeah. And I think there's a few other effects and things in it as well, which the DFAM is pretty basic. But considering the cost of the DFAMs, you're looking at £600-ish. So if you're looking for something in that sort of style and that sort of vibe, then the Edge is going to fill your. I mean, yeah,
you can buy a couple of Edges for that, can't you? Yeah, 219
exactly.
219 US is the list price. So it'll probably be It'll probably be $199. I'd say it'd be $199. Yeah. How does that make you? I'm really keen to know. Like, you own a DFAM, and then Behringer bring this out. How does that make you feel? Like, does it kind of make you feel a bit sort of ripped off, or that some companies are? Just interested to know.
No, I don't really get hung up on that, to be honest. Because I think with the Moog, with the Moog DFAM, it's sort of going to hold its price even in the future. Whereas I think your Behringer Edge is a great product, cheap, like the DFAM, but in the future, people are going to say, yeah, I want the Moog DFAM type of thing. It's always going to hold its price, I would think, being the original. So I'm not overly worried about that. And it brings a few, like I say, the MIDI side to it and a few other bits that the DFAM doesn't have. So I'm not so bothered. I'm not so bothered about that. I mean, if it had come out before, if it had come out earlier on when it was like, do I get a DFAM, or there's nothing else like the DFAM at the time, then you may have swayed to the Edge with it being so cheap. But yeah, I'm not worrying about it. I've got the DFAM, and I know you could probably still sell the DFAM for twice as much as the Edge. Easy.
Interesting, while I got you there, Daren, interesting to note that the other synth that's very similar, because it's kind of a clone of the Mother 32, is the Crave, and that's actually one of Behringer's biggest selling bits of gear, is the Crave. And it seems the world seems to have just gotten over the fact that it's like a Mother 32 now. You don't really hear people whinging about that so much anymore.
Yeah, like I say, it's a lot of people these days can't afford to go for the. It's like you say, like you can have your Moog One and everything, and people will say, "Oh, it costs an absolute fortune," but that's what you're paying for, and you can get a cheaper version. I mean, Behringer might even bring out one in not so distant future at some point, which will be very similar but a lot cheaper. But you still haven't got that Moog One. I mean, I've still got the Juno 6 here, which is like 1982. And even though they bring out clones or even the boutiques and things, you still can't beat the original. It's built quality as well.
Mm.
I presume this will still be working a lot longer than the Behringer Edge, but
Possibly.
not dissing the quality of it. But yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't know whether Andy will on that because he doesn't like cloning something that's still available.
Well, let's see what Andy has to say.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when the Crave came out, it never once occurred to me that it was let's say, a sort of clone of the Mother 32. It really didn't occur to me that was what it was. It was only when people said, yeah, but all the patch points are the same and all the knobs are the same and the way the sequencer works is the same. And I go, right, I see, I'm with you. It seemed to be its own thing, which I thought was a really good thing. It's also, of course, got a 3340 oscillator, Behringer's own 3340 oscillator, not a Moog oscillator. So the Crave doesn't sound like a Moog. It doesn't. It sounds like its own thing, really.
Roland sounds Roland.
I'm sure the same is probably true of this new one, the Edge. I suppose that's probably got 3340 oscillators because Behringer make them, rather than whatever Moog put in their DFAM. But really, I'm sort of with Daren. I mean, I really like the idea of it. I think it's a great idea. But like everybody else, I'm actually just sitting here thinking, I wish Behringer would make their own thing again. Wish they'd do something which was truly theirs. And then they're not putting themselves in the firing line of people going, you're just knocking off somebody else's product. No. It's a great thing. It's going to sell shed loads. There's no doubt about it. It's going to sell loads because it's a great sounding box, for not a lot of money, which is what Behringer do, really. They make great sounding things for not a lot of money. But Darren's right. It's value and an original DFAM will.
Yeah. Here. Completely agree with you. Now, I don't know if Dan actually mentioned in the video if it does have the 3340 oscillator chip in it, but I wouldn't be surprised because for me it's kind of like the brother to the Crave, isn't it? It's the brother to the Crave, so it's probably going to have similarities, definitely similarities. Let's see what the chatties have to say. I'm sure it's polar opinions. It usually is with this sort of stuff. So Max said that he got rid of his. I think he said he got rid of his DFAM, and now he can justify getting one of these. So yeah. So the DFAM, look, a lot of people actually said to me when the DFAM and the Mother 32 came out originally that they weren't too worried about the cost of those. They thought they were actually quite affordable Moog products. And you know what this might actually even do? It might actually make people sort of go over and check out the Moogs, because they know that it's similar. And they'll make their own decision with their ears, won't they? Because like you said, Andy, it hasn't got the same oscillator, so it's going to sound different no matter how to cook it. So yeah. Either way,
and you can't stick it in a Euro rack enclosure either, which you can with the DFAM. With the DFAM and the Mother 32, you can take them out, stick them in the Euro rack. That's we all know that that's a useful thing to be able to do.
I think if Behringer did that, that would probably be really treading on the toes. So I think the fact that they've made them as just desktop modules.
The format is different enough, and as Daren said, the inclusion of MIDI means that it is not exactly the same product. It's its own thing because it's offering something else. Its format is different. The patch points across the top rather than at the side. The fact that it's in its own self-contained box and can't be Euro racked, I think is also probably part of the how do we avoid getting into trouble? And they've made a thing that looks great too. Let's not deny it looks amazing. That shocking fuchsia pink is what a colour. That's great. I think Daren should get one just to put between those two TD3s up there. So bright yellow and bright fuchsia would be great.
Woo doesn't.
Don't mention park benches with that.
Wagoo's booing to desktop only modules.
Is it battery operated now?
I agree with Wagoo. I'm agreeing with Wagoo. Daniel's right on point
I don't
here.
think they are, Darren. No.
Yeah, I like the
No.
module. I like those ones that you can either take out of a little standalone desktop case and put them in your rack, and I really like that sort of stuff. That's really cool. Either that or go the rack mount sort of way. If you're going to have a desktop module, make it rack mountable or make it rack mountable. Anyway, we do have more news. We do. Hooray! Let's do this one. This one is another clone of sorts. This one's by AMSynths, and this is the VCO of a Jupiter 4. Interesting. So the Jupiter 4, it's Rob Keeble, as you guys know, was the guy that helped out Behringer with the 2600 and the 2500 stuff. So knows a fair bit about. He's obviously been doing Eurorack prior to that as well. But yeah, the interesting thing about this is the original Jupiter 4 oscillator was special because it actually used a 555 timer chip. In the old days, the old 555 timer chip was, the go-to timer chip. You wouldn't want to use one these days. But it also had a CMOS divider chip to create square waves, and then they're shaped into sawtooths and pulse. So it's like an interesting way that Roland had developed the way that oscillator made the different waveforms. So so when he makes this clone, it's got all of these original features. So you should be able to get that beautiful. And the Jupiter 4 oscillator does sound different to a Jupiter 8 oscillator. So let's make that of it. Now I don't have any audio, but I can tell you that it's £150 if you want to buy it. It's currently out of stock, but you can put your pre-order in now, and he is saying that it's due to be in stock later on this month. So it's not like you're waiting. I mean, it's later on this month. It's later on this month now. So I don't think you're going to be waiting long, from what I understand. But if you're wondering too, you can actually, I think you can marry this with a VCF module as well, which is the AM8104, which is the Jupiter 4 VCF. So you can have the oscillator and the filter if you're into that sort of sound. Sorry I don't have any audio. I wish they would give us some audio on this. If someone can find some audio and paste it into Discord, you won't be able to paste it into YouTube chat because I don't let you unless you're a moderator. But yeah, we can have a quick comment. Daren, are you into Jupiter recreation oscillators for your Eurorack?
Yeah, definitely. How many, has it got any CVs? Or is it lack of CVs on that? Did I notice?
It's got keyboard, mod, and an output. That's it. So basically you can modulate pulse width. Let me just get that photo up for you. So you can see the mod, and it's got a pulse width. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Could do with a few more CVs on it, but yeah, it's not bad price, I suppose, neither. Because usually when they're doing something a bit Juno-y or anything, they're quite expensive as a small module. But that's not too bad. So
it's not bad.
I'll do the classic. Yeah, it's okay.
Andy, what about you? Are you into that sort of Jupiter 4 sound?
Not like me.
I don't know it at all.
You can't be copying.
I don't know it. I don't know it, actually. I mean, people have gone about the Jupiter 4, and I've probably heard it on 1,001 records, including Duran and all those things. But to say this is a Jupiter 4, I would go, oh, is it? All right. I think it's an interesting module. I think, yeah, great. Why not? But sorry, I can't get too excited about another oscillator. So, am I a heretic for saying that? I must be. Am I going to be burnt at the stake? The synthesizer pyre. Andy doesn't like Jupiter 4 oscillators. So I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I don't get it. No, don't. So yeah, and I'll just say apologies to Mac. Yes, you have been saying that. I'm having a brain fart. That's all.
Yeah. What we could do is instead of getting in trouble with Alex Ball, that is, we could actually, if you guys are interested and you've never ever heard a Jupiter 4 before, there's a really good video by Alex Ball. So I've
seen that video. I have. So I do know about the Jupiter 4s. I'm not a complete ignoramus. I was just like...
No, I that completely wasn't aimed at you. That was more just me trying not to get a copyright strike from Alex. But there's Alex's video because he's a good friend of mine. And yeah, go check it out if you want to listen to what a Jupiter 4 sounds like. I actually really like. I like the Pro Mars and I like the Jupiter 4. They're both obviously very similar. One's polyphonic and one's mono. So yeah, go check it out. Any comments from the chatties?
I like the Jupiter 6.
Yeah.
Chatties there. Yeah, I like all the Jupiters.
Speaker of the truth.
X101 thinks that filters are more important than oscillators in Eurorack. Wow, okay. Well, I've had the 2500 Behringer modules for quite a while, and I'm dying to have their oscillator, and you still can't get it at the moment. I don't know why, because of chips or something. I'm not sure what's going on there, but yeah. Yeah, Adam, there was I do remember the retro sound video. He used to do some good videos, that guy. I don't know what's been happening to him. What's his name again?
I've never known his name. It's just always
I know his name.
retro sound and that nice PPG clank at the end of his introduction.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was also, I mentioned too, Perfect Circuit, who are based in Los Angeles or San Francisco, somewhere around on the west coast of the US. I've bought some stuff from there, so they're a pretty good place as well. Anyway, we should go into the last bit of news, which I think is this one, and that is Omnisphere. Now, Omnisphere have released this thing called Sonic Extensions, and what you're seeing there is you're seeing Undercurrent, you're seeing Nylon Sky, Unclean Machine, Seismic Shock. So they're the 4 that you can get. Now, basically, I'm going to go to a video, but basically, they're kind of in-house design sound libraries. So when these guys do their in-house design stuff, they, I don't know if you've ever checked it out before, but they don't do things by halves. Like in the past, they've gone to caves and banged on stalactites, and like they're completely, really into the sound design stuff and the way they record things and the synthesis and everything, which doesn't surprise me because Eric is at the helm with all this stuff. So I'm not sure if he's going to be talking a lot in this video, but we'll give it a go.
It does on Vinyl Skies.
He does on Vinyl Skies?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
At Vinyl Skies.
All right. Well, let's see what he says here.
Sonic Extensions, a completely new experience for Omnisphere. Sonic Extensions is a new brand of innovative products that are built by Spectrasonics. Now, you probably know that Spectrasonics has been around for
Does he actually age?
We started with sample libraries.
It looks the same all the time.
It looks the same.
But now we're introducing something new that we're also doing, which is Sonic Extensions. Each Sonic Extension...
You know what I'm going to do?
Specific...
I'm going to pause that because it's doing my head in running the video off the Mac.
Yeah.
It's just so glitchy. So I'm going to run it through the actual broadcast software, which takes a lot of video RAM, but who cares? Okay. It won't be glitchy now.
Sonic Extensions, a completely new experience.
All right, let's see if we can get some demos happening.
Awesome stuff.
Guys.
Oh, and don't miss the behind-the-scenes video, which goes into a lot more detail about Bob's...
All right, this is Nylon Sky.
So this realism knob lets you dial in exactly how much imperfection that you want. So let me take it all the way down. so that's with none of it. And then let's try about 50%. And then all the way up. So you can hear that makes a huge difference in the realism of the sound, hence the name of the knob. Okay, now in the center of the interface, we have a mixer, which allows us...
This is a massively long video, so I'm just going to skip a few parts.
Whew! That is just huge.
Let's go back. All right, let's check out Seismic Shock. So this is created by a guy called Seth Norman, and it's focusing on sort of a combination of two sort of new effect processes that they've got, and you kind of sort of merge between them. So it's to do with expression. So you guys, we'll give you guys a link to this, and you can watch this later. What else we got? The undercurrent one. Yeah, here we go.
Highlight of the controls.
So that's got something like 2,000 sounds, 300 plus sound sources, 7 gigabytes, two new effects on the O2 engine, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff like echo colors. So that's pretty cool. Now the last one is the unclean machine. So let's get that one happening.
1,000 sounds. We're just going to scratch the surface here. So let's get to it and check out a little of what Unclean Machine sounds like. We'll start with a fun arpeggiated sound that's got a lot going on in it. Here we go. This is a very fun patch, but it might be a bit busy to fit into a track, right? Well, since every patch in Unclean Machine has a unique set of custom controls, it's super easy to customize the sound to taste. So let's take a look at the interface. And here I've got controls for all the different elements of the sound. So I'm going to take out the bass, the noise, the top synth. So we just have the chords, and I'm also going to turn down the grime a bit here. And now we've got a nice clean, just the chords very clean. There's also pattern variation, so I'm going to select one of those and then speed it up. And I actually like that noise in there, so I'm going to crank it up. And now let's see what we've got.
So that one kind of reminds me a little bit of the Korg one that they did with the sort of Karma, whatever it's called, the massive arpeggiator thing that Korg used. I think it's also on the Yamaha Karma something. Yeah. Anyway, so pricing. I think each extension is $149 US, and you can get them from Omnisphere. I will link those videos for you in the chat right now, if you haven't already seen them. Daren, you've got Omnisphere, don't you?
I certainly do.
All right. Well, I'd like to know your thoughts about this, please. Massive.
It's for anyone who likes soft synths, I just love Omnisphere. It's great. It's so in depth as well, and I also like Eric as well. You know, Spectrasonics as a company, because I think he even mentions in this video that they're not going to be doing like you buy it now and then, you know, they do it half price down the line and you've already bought it. It stays as that price, and it's any. I think if you buy 2, you get 20% off. If you buy 3, you get 30% off. I think that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll always stay as is. So it's not like you feel as though you're ever going to get, feel really cheesed off when you've gone and bought it and then someone later halfway down the year buys it for half the price. And also the updates they did from Omnisphere 2 to 2.8, I think it is now, with the hardware inclusion, was all free, which is great. I think that's brilliant.
That was big.
So yeah, I can't dig up Omnisphere. You know, I mean, I just like Omnisphere. If you had to have one soft synth, it'd be Omnisphere, I think, for me. It does everything you want, and I can use some of my hardware synths within Omnisphere as well. So yeah, I don't know what else to say apart from I love Omnisphere.
Would you be getting any of these?
Now, I would, until I realised that you need 2.8 or higher, and so far, I'm only on 2. I forget what I was on. I'll update to 2.8. And then I realised that my OS isn't high enough, which I then went, I need to wait till I get another Mac or PC.
Fair enough.
So I would be doing, yes.
So that's purely just because you know that you can't upgrade it because your PC's not your Mac's not fast enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you actually haven't been able to try out
I would be.
the hardware integration properly yet then?
Yeah, because you can get it on 2.6, some of the stuff. So so some of that was fine. It's just these new extensions that it only fits in 2.8. So anything after that now I can't update. So it saves for a new computer.
Fun fact, I actually don't have Omnisphere. It's quite bizarre. No, don't have it. So every time I've gone to want to buy it, something else comes in like a bill. And you don't really have the money to spend. It's quite expensive, Omnisphere, when you think about it. I think it's $400
because
US.
To get these extensions, you're gonna have to get Omnisphere anyway. So it's going to turn out to be very expensive. But like I say, for people who, because I mean, I got Omnisphere for 3 years ago. Well, I think I got the Omnisphere, the original one, before it went to Omnisphere 2. So I've been with Omnisphere from the early days. So it just feels like a nice progression.
Andy, are you an Omnisphere person? I can't remember if you said you had it or not. No? Yeah.
It's one of those things which, I never even ventured into looking at those things when I had the old computer. Now I've got this one that's a lot more powerful and will probably be able to run it. I haven't really got into using the sort of DAW. That's part of all the jobs to do once everything gets set back up again in here. I'm really quite interested in it because people talk so highly about it. Not just Daren, other people mention it. This is really great. This is as good as. I think. Well, maybe it is, but how much is it to buy just a Omnisphere? Right, you want Omnisphere, you buy it. How much is it? I suspect it's quite a lot of money because it's such a powerful synthesizer.
About 3.
And at the moment,
yeah, it's about $400 US. And
it's not a huge amount there, but it's still at the moment those sort of sums of money are going into a different pot for different things, and so I'm not likely to be buying it anytime soon. Even though I'm sure Daren would tell me it's amazing.
Yeah.
If you're into soft synths, or even if you're not, actually, it is amazing. And I think Magoo just said it's never on sale. It's the same all year round.
No,
you're never going to feel like
that's good. No,
you never feel as though you've just bought it and then someone at Black Monday or whatever go and buy it for like half the price and you go went away.
Yeah.
They never do that. It stays the same all the time.
I think they do discount slightly I have seen them discount slightly, but it's not a lot. I think it's like maybe 5% or something. And it's usually like once a year.
I've got enough to be learning at the moment, right? Rather than jumping into something else, So that's it won't be on my shopping list for a fair while.
Fair enough. I think I just had a quick look at their website. It's €399, not $399 US. It's $499 US.
It's not stupidly expensive then, but and you get an awful lot of synthesizer, don't you, for that money? Let's be honest. And if you put that much money for a soft synthesizer, you're getting an awful lot more than buying, say, a hardware one. But still,
one of the
choices.
One of the rare software companies that when you buy it, you're not having to keep buying it again and again and again. It's like Daren said, you buy it once and they just keep upgrading it for you, and that's what I like. The streaming software that I'm using, vMix, is like that. You only buy it once, and then you don't have to keep shelling like Ableton. I had to shell out a whole bunch of money just to upgrade to 11 the other day. So I don't like that.
Well, actually, speaking of 11, can I ask a question? I know this is going off on a tangent. My computer is actually giving me a notification that Windows 11 is available as an upgrade, and I'm thinking, do I dare click upgrade it? I mean, at this point, I suppose it doesn't really matter because I've not got an awful lot of things going on with the computer. So, is it worth it? Or
yeah, definitely do it. Right. Yeah, I mean, the only thing to watch out for is, does it break some of the stuff that you've got running on there? That would be the only thing to watch out for. So go check if you've got certain software that you're running on it. Go check those companies to see if the compatibility with Windows 11 has been listed. It's not like so upgrading from Windows 10 to 11 is nowhere near like upgrading from an Intel Mac to a Silicon Mac. So that was like a complete lobotomy process because basically what it means is that the whole platform has to compile on a different architecture. That's why that's been massive.
It's gone from 86 to so.
Yeah, we've gone from Intel to ARM.
Now I'm just really confused. Now I'm just really confused because Sassy's just put in the chat, don't touch Windows 11 at Andrew Brooks. Now what do I do? Bollocks. Hardware compatibility issues. Right. Well,
of course
is it a case of just wait for a year?
Of course there is. There's always hardware compatibility. There's always hardware compatibility issues. Just like
no, I vote no. So thinking, how much RAM have you got? About that much, Wags. I've no idea. Is it a gigabyte of RAM? Has this got?
No, you have more than that.
Asking me difficult questions.
You definitely should have more than that. You wouldn't be able to run Windows 10 on a gig. It'd probably be more like 8 or something. I would suggest if it's a reasonably new machine.
How do I check? I've no idea. I even know I find out about these things on my computer. Oh, is there a button where you click? It says system. I've got a system button on here somewhere. If you've got Windows 10 OEM, then go for it, Andy Brooks. Kent's saying go for it. If Kent says go, I go. Right.
Yeah, go
maybe not today, though, Kent.
All right, let's go to the last segment. We're going to do this. Come on,
now
let's
ALL,
go.
same way.
No more IT. Stop. Stop being a bugger. Right, we have... this is really, really cool. I like this. So if you're new, you haven't watched the show before, we do a little segment called Price Watch, where we show things like this. This is Sequential Circuits Prophet 600. When he says Dirty Harry, I don't know if you can see there, but this is like probably one of the worst looking synths I've seen advertised on eBay. There you go. There's a close up of it. That's the dirtiest I've ever seen. A Prophet 600. Awful. That's horrid. Where do they get that from? The dump? From the dump? Maybe it's one of those. Oh, you know what it could be? It could be one of those New Orleans like flood type synths. There were heaps of synths that came out of that.
Well, that's true actually. Yeah.
And they just salvaged them. So whereabouts is the start? Just gonna double check again. That is Germany. Okay, so maybe it won't be. Maybe.
No, hang on a minute. We'll stop. Located in Cologne. I mean, all that Rhine Valley further down.
That all floods.
They had massive floods. So seriously bad. So you're right. It's probably from that. Oh dear.
Ken's probably saying, "Please don't buy it and please don't send it to me." Maybe he is. I'm not sure.
Well, Well, Ken did say that he'd seen far, far, far worse than my Pro
Well,
one.
he just said that, yeah.
As grotted. Yeah.
He just said
Has
that.
he just said that in the chat?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was a beauty, that one. What else we got? Eurorack seems to sometimes appear on Price Watch. And Rabbit Elephant Natural Gate. Mint in box. I love those. I love all these kind of sayings. I know what I've got. Don't lowball me, all that sort of stuff. This guy is having a bit of a laugh, I think. That is definitely not worth that. I think they're about a quarter of that price, if you're wondering. That's in Australian dollars too, by the way. So halve it for pounds-ish should give you a sort of approximation. About £1,100. A lot of money for a gate module. You would probably agree. Watch out for the noobs, I'd say. And the last one, this one's brought to you by Andy, who is a synth addict in the chat. This is the Pin Electronics Portabella Mark III. $7,000 with $200 shipping. Yes. Works great, sounds awesome, and it includes a power supply and 16 pins. Yes. What the hell is this? Is this like a VCS3 type clone?
It's an AKS clone, isn't it? It looks like an AKS. Very much so. Even the labelling around the matrix is similar.
Yeah.
Portabello. Well, Putney. I don't
Mark
have it.
III.
PIN. Never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Kent, have you ever heard of one of these? What is it?
Pin Electronics are currently around. Let's get them up on the laptop. Pinelectronics.com, if I can spell properly.
Trapezoid generator there, envelope shaper, trapezoid switch. Yeah, well, it's got all the right sort of words and things on it. It's a Synthy clone in it, says Wagyu. Yeah.
So looks like they currently sell this thing. So there it is there.
It's a lovely looking thing. I mean, $7,000 was it? Well, it would cost you that to buy one.
Yeah.
It's a part for part copy. Wow.
And what's the price on here? So it's €6,399. So what they were selling it for on Reverb
So
was
it's from Germany, it's from Bremen.
Yeah, so that's not a bad price. It's slightly cheaper than what they're selling it for.
Because that's ex VAT, so that price on Reverb will be including that and stuff.
There you go.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of. Well, actually, how much is the VCS3 made by Robin?
Well, Kent's just said it had Robin spitting blood. Well, yeah. People get the knickers in a twist about Behringer. Well, they're not the only ones doing it, are they? Clearly not.
I wouldn't be surprised if that Behringer one will be out soon. It's been a little while since they announced that. Yeah. So, more internet breaking. That's it. That's it for the Price Watch anyway. Yeah, I think my favourite was definitely the Prophet 600. That was pretty cool. The muddy Prophet 600.
It's just sad to see things in that sort of state, isn't it? I mean, oh dear. He said, feeling all sort of self-righteous.
Yeah.
Oh dear. After mine had sat there for 20 years, not looking very sorry for itself.
Shall we head on over to this thing over here? Probably should, right?
What is it?
It's the Akai Force, young
Sorry,
fella.
Rans.
I knew when as soon as this was announced, it'd be like, that's what he's waiting for.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. Well,
so does it come with all the things at the last MPC update? Okay. Oh no, shut up. You just can't tell us. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Rans.
Well, I'm going to have to drag my headphones over here. What should I do with my chair? I probably should move my chair over here too. Will the headphone reach? Yes. Okay. You guys are going to have to keep an eye on chat and things like that because I can't see it from this side of the room. I probably should have thought this through a bit better. Yeah. I probably should have thought this through a bit better, I think. Let me just grab a chair. You guys can't see me grabbing chairs, but trust me, I'm actually grabbing a chair. You can probably hear it. Okay. Right. So, wakey, wakey, forcey, forcey. Okay, what do we got? We haven't got any sound, have we? Better press stop. Okay. Now, it's been a while since I've used my Force, I have to admit. I'm a bit rusty. Now, let me turn the sound on. Sorry, I have to move. Let me see if you guys can hear this. Well, I can hear it, so you should be able to hear it.
Yeah, can hear it.
All right, let's, what should we do? Let's add a track and let's do a plugin. Okay, now, what plugin do we want to do? So with plugins, now, I don't know how, are you guys seeing that screen? Is that a bit hard to see, that screen? Would it be better if I changed it to that? Is that a bit better? Which one's better, that or that?
The other one, for seeing the screen. But it's still not exactly clear. Can you
zoom it a bit?
Focus on it better. Zoom
Well,
in a bit, yeah.
That's a GoPro, so I can't. So this one I can.
Okay.
I can zoom in and out with this. So maybe that's what we should do. This headphone's going to do my head in. Okay, let me just move the camera a bit. Sorry, I probably should have thought this through a bit better, guys.
Nah, wing it.
She'll be right, as they say in Australia. I hate that saying. Okay. Should we get that a little bit? The moment that I let go of this camera, it's going to move. Hang on, why is it doing that? Just want to go closer. It's moving on me. Why is it going angled? There we go.
Perhaps we should have just left it as it was, Ranz. Oh dear.
It's angling on me. What the hell is it doing? There we go. That better?
There, stop. Oh, that's better, much better.
And then I can go to this. I can go to this view, which I'll just change slightly. That's the GoPro. There you go. GoPro view, close-up screen view. Woohoo! Right, now, so the Hype Synth, a lot of you guys have seen this stuff on the, whatchamacallit, MPC, right? Now, I thought I had loaded the new stuff in here. I thought I'd loaded it in. I don't know why it's not showing. That's disappointing. On the hard drive is the, change that. So that should have the synth content there. There we are. So that, I don't know why it hasn't loaded that in. Selena. Weird. It didn't load it in. I don't know why. Technical issues. Okay. It's on the hard drive, so it should have loaded it in, which is really annoying. Maybe because I didn't save the directory properly. Synth content. Maybe it's because it's written twice. Oh God, I'll have to. I can't open these By the way, because it says MPC, it doesn't make any difference. It's the same. It's the same thing. Yeah. Damn, I can't show you that. Okay. All right. What about MIDI?
Is that a case of switch it off and start again?
Well, it would be a case of me having to reconfigure the folder, I think, and that might get us out of jail, I think. But yeah, let's not worry about it for now. I mean, it's the same as what was on the MPC, so we can come back to that. The only things that are new are the Selena, the Odyssey, and the what did I show before?
The Mellotron.
Mellotron, yeah.
Because the hype synth was already on the Force, wasn't it? That was what was ported over to the MPC, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of cross-pollination between the two now. But yeah, okay, so probably this is the area which is really big. That is the MIDI learn. So that hasn't been on the Force before. It's been on the MPC for ages, and it's actually really, really cool that it's now on the Force. And if you look here at this shot, you'll know if I move. This is really bad camera. Sorry. I've just lost the power for that. It's probably not a good thing. Right. Just to the left here is the Novation launch control. So I kind of want to move this camera over a bit, but I don't want to block the other camera. All right.
Just out of interest, Rans, a chap called Heiko Engerman in the chat said the folder has to be in the root directory. I'm sure you know what that means better than me.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I'll go back. It is. Go up. Up. So that is the root directory of my SSD drive. I think what it is it's done it twice. See how it's got, if you go up a folder, it's got MPC content, and then you open it and it's got MPC thing. All I have to do is just move that one folder up, and I think we're going to be fine. So I'll do that in a sec. All right, let's go back to menu. Okay. By the way, if you're ever wondering how to do that, you can actually connect your Akai Force up to your PC or your Mac by pressing this little sort of, just go back to the other view, by pressing that sort of little chip icon there, just under my finger. And when you do it, it does a little pop down there. It says go to computer mode. And when you do that, it puts the drives, including the SSD drive in the front of this thing, SD card, and it mounts them onto your Mac or your PC. It's really cool. It's a nice little feature. Anyway, MIDI learn. MIDI learn. So turn learn on, click add, source. Okay, source is going to be any of these things, whether it's a track. So these are all the tracks that I've got in this particular thing here. And it could be a return, or it could be a submix or an output. So we need to go into a menu and our settings. And we go MIDI sync, and we should be able to get launch control happening. User launch control not playing for me. Why not? Plugged in. Interesting. Why do I always have technical issues when I'm showing you stuff? Launch control is doing this right now. Weird. really not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Oh, okay.
Rip it up and start again. Does that need to be unplugged and replugged? Is it having a USB hissy fit?
It might be.
Oh, I bet it all worked swimmingly 20 minutes
there it
before
is.
you went live.
Andy, you were
Right,
spot
okay,
on.
then.
There it is. Now you guys can see. Now you guys can see launch control.
What do I know, eh?
I just didn't have the cable in the back plugged in enough, and now you can see launch control working properly. All right, cool.
So, plug it in. Find the on button.
Right. So now we go into here, and let's say in the track, let's say with the bass line, which is the neutron track. Yep. This one I want to set as just plain old volume, right? And on the launch control here, I'm just going to use that slider there, okay? So, it's on learn. Type note, no. Okay. This has got a different screen. Okay. So you can have absolute CC is probably the best one to do. Now, when it's on learn, did I not set this up properly? Yeah. Got to set it as control. There we go. My bad. There you go. So, it's hard to see, isn't it? Where's that light coming from? You guys can see me adjusting. See those figures changing there? It's very hard, just here. Data 77, data 78, data 79. As I slide these sliders here, that's 77, that's 78, that we don't need to know that, but that's what's programmed into it. So the first one's 77, okay? So that is now mixed and set up for that control. So if I go to this camera view, okay, and we go to the mixer view, okay, so here's the launch control, right? And there's the slider. What you're going to do is we're going to look at this particular track here called Neutron, which is that one, that track there. And as I adjust this slider, you'll see that slider move on the screen at the same time? There you go. Yep. So it's it'll probably take you half an hour or something to set all this up. But what it means is that once you've set your launch control up, you can set all those knobs and pads and faders, and they can do a whole bunch of different things. But once you've set it up, you don't have to have it on mixer screen here, for example. You could have it on Matrix. One of the good things about the Force, by the way, is the screen doesn't have to follow the pads as well. So in a sense, this is actually better than the MPC, because you can have a MIDI controller and the pads are doing something different to the screen. So you can see here, if I'm in say mixer mode here, I've got clip launching mode here. So let's stop all these clips and let's just do the bass line, right? So I don't need to be in mixer mode, I can be in matrix mode, and then I can adjust the fader. It's quite fluid too, that control. All right. This is nothing special to people.
Can I ask you a question about what you just did there, Rans?
Yeah.
Sorry, that volume control that you've got mapped to your MPC, the sound that we heard, that sound is coming. Sorry, that sound is coming out of the Force.
It's a clip.
Is that is that an audio clip that you've got? Because it was just right. So it wasn't passing it on to. You called it neutron, so it wasn't passing it on to the neutron and turning it down. Right. Okay.
No.
Sorry. Right.
But you could because this does have 8 audio channels in it as well that you could bring sound back in. And so you could have.
No, I was just wondering. So it was just adjusting the volume of that particular clip. That's just cleared it up for me. Thank you.
Yeah, there. So you can see. Let's go back to this view here with the screen. You can see you can have different types of tracks. You can have plug-in tracks, MIDI tracks, CV tracks. Right. You can see all the track names up here. Okay. And also audio tracks, and you can have clips. Okay, and you can call the tracks whatever you want. All you have to do is just click on it, and you can change the name of it and all that sort of stuff. It's all there. Okay. All right. So MIDI mapping is actually pretty similar to the MPC, and it will work the same for pads and pots and all this stuff here. So let's say we want to continue with that particular line here, but let's make one of these pads clip stop. What clip stop is, if you look at it at this view of the Force, right? That's the neutron track here. Okay. What clip stop will do is it'll stop any clip. If I hit that there, it's on clip stop. It will see how it stopped playing the clip. Even though it wasn't playing because I'd hit stop, it was still queued. So if I hit stop, it's still queued. If you press play again, it'll keep playing. If I hit clip stop, it'll clear that clip. If I go press play now, nothing's playing. So we might want to have a mute or a clip stop or something like that on these pads down the bottom. So let's just do clip stop. I don't know if it's in there. I don't know if we might want to choose mute or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going back to this view, and we're going to add, and we didn't need to add it. We already had one. Sorry. Click learn, and we're going to press that top pad, this one here. It's going to press that, and as I press it, you'll see it correspond to data 41. Okay. And now what we have to do is just tell it where to go in a nice possible way. So on the track, it was the neutron track. Yep, we've got that. Target this time is, what the hell happened there? I thought I just selected neutron track. Target. Mixer, is it? No, that's the sends, so it's not mixer. So I'm thinking about the wrong thing here, wait. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not track, it's not return, it's not submix. Is it main? Mains are the outputs, okay. So this is all new for me. I've never actually seen what you can do in each of these. Yeah, no, so there's mutes. Okay, so let's do mute, not do submix. Let's just do it on the track itself. Okay. So mixer. So you can mute, pan, solo. Actually, we'll do pan as well because we can use one of those pots on the. So we'll do that one. Okay. Mute will just mute that track. So if I hit that, we'll go back to this view. If I hit that clip again, there, we're getting sick of that. And then on here. Now, why is that not working? Because I've got to hold it down and let it go. What I need to do is I need to change the type in here to probably a toggle button. I think it's toggle button. Let's try it now. Yeah, there we go. As a toggle button, it's literally as you'd expect. The other way was just to hold it down. All right, so we've done that. And the last one we're going to do is we're going to use one of these potentiometers here to pan. Cool. Let's try that. None of this is exciting for some of you, but I understand, but some of you will actually enjoy this stuff. So track, neutron, yes, target, mixer, pan. Now, this time, we wiggle that because we're on learn. It's picked it up, and let's give it a go. Now this should bring it to the left. There you go. 3 useful little things there for us to do, and it only took a couple of minutes to do it. First time I've ever done MIDI mapping on a Force, and I've done it live, live stream in front of everyone. And even still then, you saw me having trouble at the start getting the Novation circuit, Novation launch control working. It was purely because I didn't have the MIDI cable plugged in. But then you noticed that it still wasn't working, and I had to go into Preferences, into MIDI, into this screen better for you guys, and I had to turn those control options on. That's that second column there. It says, I don't know if you can see it, it says control. And then that becomes a MIDI controller for you. Now that will actually work with keyboard-based MIDI controllers as well. This is obviously not a keyboard. Pad controllers as well. So yeah, nice. Okay. Let's have a little breaks keys from that. And we'll go to some questions. That's the MIDI learn. That was the big one a lot of people wanted to know about. One of the things, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when I was doing that, I was also able to edit the, so if I made something happen in that screen and I didn't like it, I was able to press the learn button and change it. So all I had to do was just highlight the row for that particular parameter, click the learn button, change it, wiggle a knob, slide a slider, press a pad, and it will change it. So if you guys want me to do that, tell me, and I'll show you that. It's really, really easy. That's actually a really cool feature, by the way. So once you've done everything and you're not happy with the location of one of the sliders or the knobs, you can actually change it really, really easily. Questions from the chatties, quickly. You guys been keeping an eye for me?
Yeah, someone asked
Not seen any
what's
questions.
the SSD spec for the Force.
Sorry, what was that, Daren?
Yeah, someone where is it? Someone asked what's the SSD spec for the Force. I don't know whether that means what SSD.
What the maximum you can put in it, yeah. Well, I've got 1 terabyte in there, and I know guys have got 2 terabytes. I don't know what the maximum would be, but I'm sure there would be. But you'd probably have to go check out Akai's webpage for that.
When you fit the SSD in, is it
It's 2.5.
Oh, is it a SATA?
Yeah.
2.5
SATA.
Is it
yeah.
SATA fit?
Yeah. Oh, is that what he means?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 2.5 SATA, and
I'm presuming that's what it means.
Yeah, I'll show you guys actually. It just all it requires is 4 screws, and the cable's already in there. So all you need to do is just go buy your drive. The one I'll show you guys. I'm using a Samsung Evo SSD. They're pretty good. Paul's saying, now you have me interested in the launch control. The launch control is amazing little controller from Novation. Lisa, if she's in the chat, she'll also swear by it. She uses it for her performances. I've used it with my MPCs probably now for about 3 or 4 years. So I think they're really good. The other one that's good to use is, if you looked at the videos, they showed the Akai Mini. I think the ones that they were showing in that was called but this is also another good one, the APC Mini. So because you've got sliders and you've got a whole bunch of, now what you won't be able to get it to do, I don't think, with the Force and the MPCs is get the lights to light up like this. Unfortunately, that's a feature that has to be programmed in software. So, but yeah, you'll be able to label them with stickers and use it blindly that way. So one little annoyance, I think, about some of those controllers is they don't light up, because it's kind of like a secondary feature. Usually they're tied into like an Ableton or something for the lights to work. So yeah, ask questions. While we're doing that, why don't we see if we can fix the folder business. Yes, fix the folder business. Because I did want to show the synths. Synths. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to break my computer though. I don't really want to do that, do we? In the middle of the stream. That could do that. Should we risk it? Should we risk it?
Ooh.
Okay. We could break the stream. Why don't we do this first? Okay. So let's turn off the force. Don't save. Pull in my headphone cable to Cahoots. Just unplug everything.
Wow, that's bold.
Yeah, it's not bold. We'll get it all back together. There's not a lot in here. There's not a lot in here.
While you're plugging and unplugging, I noticed you said it got CV tracks. Now, is that something that's new to the Force now, like it was on the MPC, that you can now control CV tracks on it?
You can.
And if so, how many sockets has it got in the back of it?
4. So you technically could have 2 CV and gate tracks, or you could have 1 gate and 3 CVs, or 3 gates, and it doesn't specifically have to be CV and gate in pair, but that would probably be the norm, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
2, that's heaps. All right, it's all unplugged. Don't be scared, people, about this sort of stuff. I mean, I used to pull hard drives out of computers for a living when I was young.
What are you about to do, Ranzee?
I'm going to show everyone the hard drive that's in here. Because I just want to show you how it just really isn't nothing to be scared of. You don't need to take this into a shop to get done. It's really not that hard to do. This stuff, a lot of guys that do synth work are computer geeks anyway. But for those who are playing along at home, there you go. It's a Samsung solid state drive. It's an Evo, I think it is. That cable is already inside the Force, okay? And all you have to do, you'll notice that there's 4 little screws there. They usually come in the pack with your hard drive. You just screw them in, so that doesn't go anywhere, and then that just slides back in like that. The SATA connector is basically all contained within, so you're not going to need to go find the cable or where it goes to or anything like that. All right. So there you go. Now, in terms of size, maximum size, like I said, I don't know. Someone in the chat's probably already answered that. But the fact that these things are now disk streaming, okay, which is something we're going to show you in a sec, this disk streaming feature that they've brought into the Force is huge. It's huge. What it means is that all the clips and the samples and the audio tracks no longer need to actually be loaded into RAM on the device. They can literally just play directly from disk. They can play directly from the SATA drive in here, or they can play from the SD drive, which is actually on the front. There's the little SD card there.
Does it come with a drive, Rans?
No. It does have some internal...
Just that Robbie was asking.
Yeah, it does have some internal drive that you can use by default, but they say in the manual that they recommend that you get yourself a drive. This is just for Andy. I just wanted to show him. It's bad light, but you can see the CV connections there, Andy.
So they were on the Force anyway by default. I didn't realise that.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No, I've just been and had a look at my MPC, and it doesn't have a thing on the bottom like that. So obviously the MPC one doesn't have the ability to stick in a little hard drive like you've done there.
No, the MPC one does not. That's actually the thing that would make you get an MPC Live or an MPC X.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. You will also notice that the MIDI connections on this are 3.5mm, and you can see that I've converted
Robbie's just asked whether it comes with the SSD as standard or whether it's an upgrade. I think Ranz has just said that you added it later. Is that right, Ranzee?
Yeah, you go to a computer shop and you buy your SSD from your favourite computer store. All right, let's see if I've broken it.
That would be irony.
No. This sort of stuff. Look, Akai wouldn't let you go into the back of this thing if they weren't, you know, reasonably comfortable. It does take a little while to boot up. Not too bad though. Okay. So, what we want to do this time is I want to put this thing into computer mode.
What does that mean? Blimey. Oh, God.
So
You're going to turn it into a computer?
You can see what it's doing here is it's loading all the samples. Every single one of these clips that I've had on this project in the past would have had to have loaded into memory, into the back, you know, the back memory of this thing. But now you can actually configure each clip, and you can actually, you know, you can talk about each clip here. So if I go to clip, and that's not what I wanted. Anyway, let's not do that right now because I'm getting sidetracked. I want to go into computer mode. Bang. Computer mode. Now. Reboots itself into a different mode. And now you will see that screen up there. Now I have to, it's popped up 2 folders on my computer. I can't show you because it's just too hard for me to show you, but all I'm going to do is fix up that drive directory that I had before. And move it to there. And I think that should do us. Okay. And now go back to standalone. I think that should do us. If it doesn't work, then that means I would have had to have put it on the SD card. And I'm getting a spinny spin on the stream. I'm getting error message on the stream again. God help us.
It's still working at my end, I think. Oh no, now we're spinning.
Yeah, it's spinning. It's interesting why it's spinning. Mm-hmm. Okay. What were we doing before? That's right. We were going to see if we can create a plugin. No. It didn't bring him in. Okay. It just means that that's got to go on the SD card. I don't know why it's not working. Okay, we'll do it on the SD card. I wonder if it's because I've been plugging stuff into the USB port. While I've been streaming. It's probably not a good idea. SD cards and Akai Forces. All right, we're still here, everybody. Yay. Okay. What I'm doing right now is, you can't see, I'm sorry, I can't show you the files, but I'm just moving that same folder into the root folder of my SD card. It was called MPT, there it is. So it's about a gig worth of content. It's got to wait for that to copy across to an SD card. It's copying it reasonably quickly, 40, 50 megabits per second. Megabytes per second, I should say. And just waiting for that to copy. There's lots of little files.
Is there a limit, Rans? Is there a limit to how many tracks you can have on the Force? Yeah, there is. There's I don't think there's a limit to MIDI, but there's a limit to audio tracks. It's 8 audio tracks, and you know. Only 8.
Yeah, it's an 8-track audio machine. Yeah. But don't forget, you've got internal plugins.
running alongside everything else.
You've got CV, you've got MIDI, you've got clips, you've got key groups, and you've got audio tracks. So if you combine all of that together, you've got a DAW in that sense. So I've never really noticed it as a limitation. If you're specifically just going down the route of audio tracks, then you would find a limitation pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having dramas today. I'm just having maybe a blonde moment with things. Sorry for all the blondes. Okay, I'm going back over to the Force. Which camera was that? Is it that camera? Yep. Okay. The other thing too is maybe I've got the wrong files. Because I used the MPC files, but it did say that it's interchangeable. I don't know.
Nigel Tedbury's just said, Akai site download, the folder was just called Synths, didn't have the MPC prefix. Maybe the Force doesn't recognize it? Question mark. So
Right.
I don't know if that's what you were just hinting at there.
Well, let's go empty project. If I go to places and we go to the SD card, there's the content there, and it says synths there. Okay. Did that bring it in? Let's see. So, yeah, no. All right. Let's try that. Let's give that a rock and roll. All I gotta do is just move that folder up one. Okay. So this doesn't go for riveting viewing, but that should. Does it bring it back up again? Synths. There you go. All right, let's see what happens now. We'll have to restart maybe. We'll try. See if it requires a restart. Hey, we've got it, boys and girls. There we are. Isn't that a lovely thing? So that's what we were looking for. We're looking for Mellotron, Odyssey, Selena. Okay. Which one do you guys want to do? We've seen all these before, but it's nice to see them on the Force.
Mellotron.
Mellotron. I knew you'd say Mellotron.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
All right, Selena, then bugger it. No, I'm kidding.
Right. God help me, I've forgotten how to get the GUI on these things up. So Mellotron's definitely there, blah, blah, blah. So you don't go to clip. No, you go to... How do I get the GUI up? I've forgotten how to get the GUI up on the clip, on the plugin. What am I doing wrong? Help.
Thank you, Agu.
Yeah.
Clip matrix.
Cheers, Wags.
Thank you. Plugin. Control? No, it's not that.
Shift and clip. Says Nigel here.
Ah, there you go. Yay. I knew it was there somewhere.
Well done, Nigel. We're glad Nigel came along. Well done.
Nigel's awesome. No one else told me. Right. Notes. We need to go to note mode. Okay, so now so that's what you guys are seeing as a GUI. Sorry, I've slightly moved it. There you go. So this is the same as the MPC. Have you got this on your MPC, Andy?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've just been. I mean, it's all about trying to make the thing, learning how to make the thing work. No, I've just messed about with these synths on it. I've absolutely loved it. You know, I think it's great. I could just see myself using my MPC as just a glorified poly synth. I know you'll all shout at me, but oh, it's just great.
Nothing like a bit of Fat Boys, hey?
Boys.
Yeah, so these are all your plugins. So we can change plugins to Odyssey. And now we've got an Odyssey. Polyphonic Odyssey. Why don't we do some pads? Space pad.
Gala. Oh. That's suspiciously like a filter sweep.
Right, so there's a way you can get the knobs to work with what's on your screen. So it should, here we go. Follow the screen. Hey, there we go. So what that does is these knobs here I'm talking about. So that now has a nice little sort of OLED display, and it tells me that's my course tuning for VCO1, and we've got all to do with VCO tuning. Cool. And then I guess if we go to filter screen, this is my low pass filter knob. So
it sounds nice, doesn't it? You got to admit it. That little thing, it just sounds great.
So we got resonance on this thing?
You're going to get a strike. You're going to get an FFS strike, aren't you? Oddly spelled, obviously. Just hit the steps when you're doing that, but not very much.
I think, was it the steps or was it the harmonics? Sometimes you can get confused. Anyway, that's Odyssey. Selena?
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. What should we do? Classic? Ooh.
Yeah.
What did I just touch then?
Oh.
Sorry, I touched something.
Audio 1.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Duh. Mary Jane.
Mellow T. All right, Mary Jane.
All right, Mellow T. Where was I? There we go. You can configure the pads.
Is that to try and make it sound like a mellotron? I don't know. You can. Maybe. I mean, sorry, go on.
No, you go.
Oh no, I was. You were saying you can configure. Then you said pads. I was going to go and say other things that you can configure. You can edit loads on them, and you can actually take them quite a way out of where they were sort of originally intended to be, which is quite fun.
But probably the big thing for me, and this would probably be similar on the MPC X, is these little Q-Link knobs here, how they've got the OLED display, and how you can actually, if you hold down knobs, brings up that, and you follow it with the screen. Obviously, you can all those other settings as well, but that is so cool. So when you go to a plug-in synth, and in this particular screen we're in, this is kind of, these are kind of all the mixing of the sounds here. And you go to the sound screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
Flavor. Vinyl distortion. Flavor flutter. Monify. Makes it more stereo. Oh yeah, cool, like that. And you got chorus and EQ. The whole cool thing about that is, you know, once you get your sound right and everything, you can then go into your matrix and you can just record a clip of it. It's that easy. So dum 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 dum, go. The world's worst playing. All right, and then from there on forever, you can play it back by going launch. And it's there forever until you delete it, of course. So there you go.
You've got a #1 hit on your hands with that one, Ranz.
Oh, yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I have no idea. I have no idea how you play chords and things like that with any degree of intention on a matrix like that. I have no idea. You've got to attach a keyboard.
It. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I can't stand it, by the way. I absolutely can't stand playing pads. Although when you do configure them in like, you can configure them into, you know, sort of root notes and a blues sort of thing. And that means, you know, you can just mash your fingers all over the pads and it will sound beautiful because it's in some sort of root note configuration. Yeah. But other than that, I can't stand it. Anyway,
for us non-players.
Yeah. Now, next thing I wanted to try is Bluetooth. Shall we try that? Bluetooth. What can we do with Bluetooth? Well, what about the Roland A01? Let's bring that over for a sec. Is it this camera? No, it's the wrong camera. I always get the wrong camera. It's this camera. Okay, so we've got the Roland A01. This show's going to go on forever, isn't it? I've got to be careful of making sure this show's not going to go forever. I'm just going to bring it over to you guys to show you first.
Well, it might, but I'll be going at some point because I've got to go to Doncaster again. So
all right. Oops.
Right.
That's what the Roland.
Don't break it.
That's what the Roland A01 looks like. Okay. The bonus thing about the Roland A01 is it's actually a Bluetooth controller. So we can try that out. And the cool thing about it is I can plug it in up here, and we can configure it over on the Force. Just give me a second. I'm just going to grab a cable to plug that in. Now, I've never actually tried this before, so I always want to try things that don't follow the rules. I've never
Live
tried.
on air. Well done.
Yeah, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Okay, so I don't need to plug this into a computer because it's just needing power. Okay, so come back to me. So that's all turned on, and you can see the little Bluetoothy thing flashing in the bottom corner there. See that little Bluetooth icon flashing? So what we want to do, God help me if I remember how to get Bluetooth working on this thing. I think it just automatically just pairs. Okay, let's see if it's going to find it on the Force. Right. We need to go to Preferences, Bluetooth. Turn it on. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Roland AO1. Pair.
Rants, do you know what
Oh, you're kidding me. It failed.
Oh.
Oh, no. Why did it fail?
well, there's the answer. What versions of Bluetooth are they both running?
That could be.
not,
That could be an issue. Why did it fail? Try it again. Maybe I've got to. Oh, maybe it's got to go on some sort of mode on here. System.
How long's the Akai Force been out? Is it Bluetooth 4 then on the Akai Force?
Bluetooth LE. This is. Akai Force 2019, 2018, somewhere around there. I've had the Roland AO1 working on the MPC. Don't fail. Yes!
Hey.
Right. Now, MIDI. We want to input.
Control.
Beautiful.
Yay.
And if we go back to here, I wonder if it's going to play. Yes, it's working. Right.
Serious?
That is seriously working.
Oh, you're a genius, Ranzee.
Right. Okay, boys and girls. Come on. You kidding me?
Oh, no.
Oh,
You
there we
moved
go.
it too far away.
I don't know if I'd be relying
Is it
on this.
Bluetooth 4?
I do not know if I'd be relying on this. This is pretty. That's probably one of the shittiest Bluetooths I've ever seen.
Robbie said
Sorry.
if it's Bluetooth 4, it's not going to be a good experience.
It was absolutely shocking. Oh, dearie me. How are we going to
No,
stop
it's
that
not.
noise?
Well, Robbie, you put the mockers on
Hit
that
the
one.
panic button.
The panic
Stop.
button.
Bluetooth. Hit the panic button.
It's a. Oh.
Okay.
Blame Robbie.
All right, what are we up to
He's
now?
trying to sell you
Chatties.
some proper witty things, that's why.
Chatties. Questions. What version of Bluetooth? We answered that. Use a Bluetooth keyboard app on your phone. Yeah, I could do that. I was going to, but I just thought it'd be really difficult and do something even weirder. I don't have a Rolly, and I don't know if I ever was going to get one either. Because they're just really expensive in Australia, Rolly stuff. Kent's comment before, after seeing the trouble that Ranzee's having, I can see the appeal for synths like the Mini Moog. You should see me use a Mini Moog. It's worse. But yeah, anyway. So we've had Bluetooth running, we've had plugins running. I troubleshooted getting the plugins correct. Some people are going to have the same problem as me, so you know that's all well and good. What else do we want to do? Disk streaming was the other thing, wasn't it? So we wanted to check out disk streaming. How long have we been streaming for? I need to double check that. Oh yeah, we've been going.
It's 4 o'clock here now.
Yeah, we've been going quite a long time. We can have a quick look to
108
see.
seconds ago, according to mine.
Yeah, we can have a quick look to see what disk streaming's all about. I mean, but I think you guys get the idea. It's you can actually configure a clip to be either a disk streaming clip or a memory-based clip. And I think, is it in here? I can never remember if it's in here. No, that's monitor, sorry. No, it's not in that. It's track settings. Might be on the clip itself. Okay, as track, fire, orange, blah, 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 global, quantization, trigger. No, that's not to do with that. So, is it edit clip? Oh, I forget where you find it now. There's a setting in here anyway. I thought it was a lot easier to find. Maybe it was shift. Matrix. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're running out of time. We can get on to that sort of stuff was shown in the Akai video anyway. It's, like I said, I've only had this thing for 5 minutes, so yeah, I think the next thing would be to try the WIDI stuff out on this, wouldn't it? To see how well it works. Because I'm just keen to see how good Bluetooth is. Because that was really latent on the, on the 001. It was like I'd hit a key and it'd be like, oh, there it plays. So yeah, yes. What did we not cover? We covered lots of things and we didn't cover lots of things. So the effects is an area we didn't cover. But just remember, with the effects, they're pretty much the same as what we showed on the MPC a few months back. So you've got the vocal effects, you've got things like glitchy. But one of the things to remember about the Force with effects is you've got mix buses, and you've also got, so you've got effects racks. So it kind of, if you're kind of used to using a DAW in that sort of sense, you can load up your effects that way. And then you can also, you can configure your controllers, like the Novation launch control, to actually manipulate how your effects sound whilst you're actually playing. As well as, I should mention that when you're actually using the effects as well, what was the point I was trying to make? Sorry, the automation controls can be recorded of all the changes that you make at the same time. So you can go into the Andy, you know this has got a an arranger mode on it, don't you?
Well, you're telling me. I don't know about the Force at all.
So the big difference between the MPC and the Force is the Force actually has an arranger mode there. That's the arranger mode. So it works like a linear DAW. So when you can actually record, so all those things I was showing you before with clips and plugins and stuff, like you can load all those into your matrix, and you can then record a performance in your arranger, and then you can stem that out into your DAW. So it's got multiple purposes in that sense. That, by the way, the arranger came out in the previous firmware update. It's not the new thing. So, yeah. I know a guy who's got two Forces. I don't know why, but he swears by it. He says it's actually really cool. He has one going into the other. So, yeah. And he said now that the second Force is out, you know, he's really, really happy. Oh, there was one other thing we forgot to mention, and that is the audio interface integration, the same as the MPC. So, for example, I could plug the Expert Sleepers audio interface into my Force and change it over to that, and I could bring all my Eurorack. Instead of me recording my Eurorack through a sound interface and then into the back of the Akai Force, using the inputs in the back of the Akai Force, I can just record it straight over an audio interface via USB. And in this particular case, I get 8 ins and 4 outs with the ES8, but you can upgrade it with other different ones. And you can also use, as long as it's class compliant, so any class compliant audio interface will work on it. The RME DigiFace that I got wouldn't work on it because that's not class compliant, but any sort of basic audio interface that's like the Arturia Audio Fuse would work on it. Yeah, so that's something we haven't shown, but we could probably revisit it next time. Okay, Saturday Sonority finishing up.
Well, I haven't got a Force. I can't really say much, to be honest. But I do like what I've seen of the.
No, I haven't either.
3.1. You've got an MPC one, so you've got a similar.
I think.
Yeah.
I think for me.
Okay.
I think for me, this update is really just to stop people whinging about all the MPC people that got really cool update with their MPC. I think that's really all this is.
Yeah.
So the disc streaming,
the disc streaming thing
is the
seems like a big thing to a lot of people, though, isn't it? Although, again, in my own head, I can't work out why that is so important, unless you're planning to load it full of already pre-recorded, pre-arranged tracks and use it as a sort of DJ mixer thing.
I wish the disc streaming
really
was on the MPC.
I'm not really sure.
I really think it should be on the MPC as well, because to me it's a no-brainer.
I think Inky's thinking something similar. She's mentioned that before, that she's certainly wanted it on the Force, but I'm sure she'd probably want it on the MPC as well, because she is, of course, an MPC goddess. She knows that thing really, really well. So, well, again, I think, obviously from her background as a DJ, I think that's where she's heading with it. Well, that's what she's wanting, to bring things in and mix more. But I haven't got my head to that level at all. That's not the way I see things. But
I mean, what we could do is we could just chuck a really big friggin' long WAV file and just load that into a clip, and the Force won't create any extra memory other than the data of it being there and the link to the hard drive to play it. So when you launch it, it literally just plays the file straight from the disk or the SD card. That's the benefit. So it means that you're not
with
going
no
to
latency.
With no latency. So that means that
it's got to have no latency.
Yeah. So I mean, we could load any WAV file up and whack it on there and try it out as a clip. That's something very simple to do. But if you look at what Lisa said in the chat, that's exactly what she said. The biggest update on the Force is the disc streaming. That's what the main update was. So, yeah. While she's talking about that, or you guys are talking about that, I can just quickly load a WAV file on here. A big one. What I'll do is I'll just load a track, a fully completed track, and it'll make no difference.
Still, for me, I've. Go on.
You go.
I was going to say, still for me, I've not. I'm still not. What is it? Convinced about leaving my workflow to put in a Force yet. It's like, for live, it'd probably be great. I'm still not convinced that it's the way I'd work yet. It's getting there, but I don't know. I'm still undecided, as they would say.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to load this into my sample library. Undecided's fine. Look, I'm not here to sell it. I don't get any money. Akai leaves some money on the fridge. They don't love me enough. But for me, I use it more as a clip launching thing. And the fact that this has got the audio interface integration now is a big thing. Okay, so I need to change screens, sorry. So I've literally just gone in and chucked a big, massive, fat. Where is it? There he is. If I load that, ooh.
Sorry for laughing. I just
that sucks.
Yeah. Go on, do it again.
Why did that not work?
Is there a certain length of file that can be loaded?
No, it might.
Or is it any?
It might be the it might require a certain audio rate, bit rate, that sort of stuff. I don't know. I haven't actually checked into that. I'll try one more just quickly. I can't actually remember what file type that was. It was just a WAV file. What if it won't do MP3s, will it?
You'd have thought it should have done, because then there'd be less space used up by MP3s, wouldn't you?
I thought it was WAV files. I'm going to chuck an MP3 in. And I'm going to chuck another WAV file in. Okay.
No tengo ninguna idea.
We'll see what happens. One thing I love about this, if you eject your SD card and then you chuck it back in again, boom, look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Okay, there's the MP3. Yay, it does load MP3s. Haha. All right, cool. Okay, so now
that was the last one. That was a lovely Selena.
Okay, is it going to play? Otherwise, it's not playing. Interesting. Flip.
So it's loaded it in, but it's not there.
Yeah. So I need to go to stop, matrix. Try the WAV file. Okay. Matrix. It might not be the right time division or something. I don't know. I haven't tried that before, so I mean, it was always going to be risky to try that, but yeah, not sure. Someone will be throwing their synth at the screen in the chat going, "You haven't done this, you stupid Burke." Mac's probably the one that's laughing at the moment. What's he saying?
It's probably. Oh, Ranzee, come on. Yeah. Never mind. You need to set the D-USB audio setting to 128 so also to give the input volume 100% for name. Ugh. Anyone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is the clip running? That's what I thought it was running. It was flashing. Anyway, I have to play with that a bit more. That was a really long clip. That was probably about 5 or 6 minutes long in audio. So I don't know. Maybe I broke my force. I don't know. But I mean, of interest, when I was actually going through the file browser and I moved the cursor over, it did actually play it briefly. Did you hear that? So I'll just show you that again. So it's not like it's not reading it. If I go to the file browser and you move the cursor over that, see, it's playing it. So it's doing the preview. It's weird. Don't know. I'll have to have a play with that later. But I mean, if that's the big thing to get running on there is you could literally just have really big long WAV files running on there as clips, big droney things, and you just launch them and let them play. Andy, you could just record clips from your Eurorack, 15-minute long, type crazy sort of synth sweeps and stuff.
Noodles.
Yeah, and just
Well-
just keep launching them. But yeah,
Well, it's the plan to try it with the MPC. That will be over here, and that's what I plan to do, and hopefully get my head into it. And it may well be that I by doing so, I see some of the limitations of the MPC rather than say the Force. But I'm not rushing out buying a bloody Force now. I've still got to learn that chuffing MPC properly yet. So.
You can also do it with one cable, can't you, Rants, with audio and video goes audio and video. Oh god, audio and MIDI.
Come on, put your teeth back in, Darren. Come on.
let him finish.
No.
You can do it with one cable with audio and MIDI going out. Is that what you're asking me? Yes.
Yeah, can't you have? Yes, can't you have? Because you can run to show you, you can run a big mixer and use the Force as just instead of having lots of cables going through, you can route everything through just the Force via the MIDI.
That's right. So if you went to
USB, Jesus.
If you went to this shot here, that black cable there is USB 3, and it's plugged into a USB hub just behind my hand there. That you don't need, that's to the computer. And all of this here you wouldn't need. So you wouldn't need these physical connections here. And then if you had an audio class compliant audio interface plugged into your USB hub, then you could use that for your audio in and out. And you have your MIDI devices plugged into the USB as well. So yeah, technically one cable, but really it's the USB hub that's important. So yeah.
Do you use Ableton Link, Marcast?
I do, but in this particular case, I haven't got it turned on. Do you think that might be why it wasn't playing? I don't know. I need to play with it more. That's literally the first time I've dragged a massive WAV file or an MP3 file in there and tried it out, and it failed. So obviously, I need to read the manual and find out more about what it is that I need to do. So yeah. Cool. All right, so I think we're probably done with the Akai Force for now. I think what we'll probably do is, with any sort of more features to do with the Akai Force, if I come across it and anything, I'll just flick it over to the camera and we can show you in the next up and coming shows. For now, what I actually thought was really, really cool was the AO1 working off of Bluetooth. So that's cool. So that's hope for MIDI over Bluetooth. So that would be cool. Obviously, there's heaps of guys using their iPads because Bluetooth over iPad to control their Force, so that's good. And yeah, and it's nice to have all the MPC plug-in synths in there and the MIDI learn, that sort of stuff, and the USB audio is nice as well. So for me, it's a beautiful update. It's a lot of people have been waiting for it probably for about 3 or 4 months now. So well done, Akai, for that update. And as I always say, that's a free update. And you look at all the cool things that just gave that device. It's really a completely different device to what it was 2 or 3 days ago before that update came out. So when you think about it, it's now got disk streaming, it's got class compliant audio in and out, it's got MIDI learning capabilities, it's got a whole bunch of new plug-in synths. There's a whole bunch of effects, rack-mounted sub-mixing and all that sort of stuff. So when you think about it, that device that people bought back in, for me, 2019, I think it came out in 2018 or whatever it was, it's had complete changes. It's completely different to what it was when it first came out. You haven't got WIDI, Sasquatch. I haven't got WIDI yet. Yeah, so that's something I'll have to do later. But I was glad, you know, you guys might laugh about all the things that went wrong in today's show, but I was glad because that's what editing would not show you.
That's what happens to me.
That's what editing would not show you on a video. So, you know, you guys who do YouTube videos will know that you might spend a day shooting a video that might only go for 5 minutes and you edit out all the crap that happens, connectivity issues, you know. For me, I had to work out the folders. There was all sorts of stuff. And the only reason why that didn't work beautifully for me today is because I've only had this update for 24 hours. So, yeah, it's only so much you can know after 24 hours. And at the same time, my son graduating from high school. Yeah, busy days for me. So, on that note, I think we'll wrap the show up.
Right.
Everyone's saying witty in
Well,
the
thank
chat.
you very much. Yeah, we did. I thought that was the good thing about that though is even though everything went wrong, it's and some people might not like it. Some people might say, "Oh, I don't like that," but it does help people who are starting out because it's like if I get something and I've never used it before and I come to use it and I'm going, I can't get these folders to it. But then you look at a YouTube video and everything's going perfectly swimmingly for them. It just drains you down trying to track out why it's not working. When you see someone else having the same sort of issues, but solving them, then at least you go, oh well, it's not just me that's having this problem. At least I can give you that motivation to work through it and carry on, rather than just go, I'm bidding this. Everyone else needs to manage it, and this one doesn't work for me.
Well, there's a difference when you're solving them when you're live streaming, and there's a difference when you're solving them and you're just mucking around in your studio and you've got no pressure either.
Well,
let me tell you. I think honestly, the next thing we probably should do with the Force, with this show, is as Max said, get the audio interface into it. I really want to show, especially Andy, I think he's probably going to be keen to see this. So get that expert sleepers connected up, get some sort of sequences and cool things happening in Eurorack land, and then start recording little clips in the Force. And then you'll start to see the power of this thing. Because once you've got the audio captured, it's all tempo synced. You've got it in, you don't, like Daren said, you'll have one USB cable going into the back of the Force, and then all your Eurorack audio is coming in and out, all tempo synced. It's going to be a thing of beauty. And remember too, you've got your 2 CV gates, and you could use that to sequence your gear. So that CV thing could be your tempo gate going out, if you wanted to. So yeah, I reckon that'd be fun. That'd be cool. All right, we're going to end it. Andy, thanks very much for being part of the show.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for having me again, as always.
And Daren as well. Good luck with everything with the album. I hope that's going well for you. And also thanks for the chatties. I did miss one of the super chats that came through while I was on the Force, and I think that was that Wagoo. So
yeah, Wagoo.
Yeah, I think it was Wagoo.
They always.
Yeah, we got a 5-pounder from Wagoo. Beautiful. Thanks Wagoo for the super chat, and Daniela for the one earlier. Much appreciated, and we'll talk to you guys in Discord during the rest of the week. If you've got any questions that you want me to answer about the Force, happy to talk to you about it during the week. Don't forget the Discord channel is there on your screen. If you haven't joined it, join it. It's free, it's fun. Yeah. I've got a few people already on it, so yeah, good. Thank you guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't matter. We're all big boys. See you later.
I'll take care.